the whispering wind of the shadow thicket? Vesper lived in the sun-drenched burrow, a place of safety, soft moss, and sweet clover. But while his family was content with the golden light of the garden, Vesper's ears always twitched toward the dark tree line of the faraway. His father, Silas, often found him staring at the horizon. "The clover here is sweet because it is grown with care, Vesper," Silas said. "Adventure is a fine thing, but only when you are prepared for the path." His mother, Marla, was even more cautious. She knew the secrets of the woods. "The shadow thicket does not care for soft fur, Vesper," she warned him one evening as the stars began to blink. "Listen to the wind. It carries the songs of those who went before. It tells you where the ground is firm and where the thorns hide." Vesper flicked his tail impatiently. He thought his parents were just trying to keep the best adventures for themselves. One afternoon, while the sun was high and Silas and Marla were busy tending to the winter stores, Vesper decided he had waited long enough. He didn't need a lecture on the wind, and he certainly didn't need a map. He had strong legs and a heart full of fire. With a bold wiggle of his nose, he hopped over the ancient boundary stones that marked the end of the safe lands. The shadow thicket was different from the garden. The air was cool and smelled of damp earth and old secrets. The tall blue grass rose high above Vesper's head, swaying like the waves of a sapphire sea. For a moment, Vesper felt like a pioneer. "See?" he whispered to a passing beetle. "I am perfectly fine. The world is just waiting for me to explore it." But as the sun began to sink, the bluegrass grew thicker and more tangled. The cheerful chirping of the garden birds was replaced by a heavy, watchful silence. Vesper turned to head back, but the path he had taken had vanished into the shadows. The wind began to howl through the trees, and for the first time, it didn't sound like noise. It sounded like a warning he had chosen to ignore. Suddenly, a sharp snag stopped him in his tracks. A long, silver thorn from a hidden vine had caught Vesper's left ear. He tried to pull away, but the vine was stubborn. The more he thrashed and panicked, the tighter the shadow thicket seemed to wrap around him. He was stuck, alone in the deepening dark, and the cold was beginning to bite at his fur. Just as the first moon rose, a familiar scent drifted through the thicket, the scent of cedar wood and home. Silas appeared through the gloom, his fur dusty and his breath heavy from a long run. He didn't shout or lecture. He simply knelt beside his son. "Stay very still, Vesper," Silas said softly. "I have navigated these thorns many times before. Let me show you how to move." Once Vesper was free, the two of them sat on a mossy log at the edge of the thicket. Vesper's ears smarted, and his pride felt even more bruised. "I thought I knew everything," Vesper admitted, his voice barely a whisper. Silas nudged him gently with his head. "We don't tell you no to stop your journey, Vesper. We tell you how, so that you can actually finish it." They returned to the sun-drenched burrow, where Marla was waiting with a bowl of warm dandelion tea. She didn't scold him for his disappearance. Instead, she gently pressed a cooling dock leaf over his scratched ear. "The world is vast and beautiful, Vesper," she said. "But your ears are large, so you can hear the wisdom of those who have walked the path before you. Listening isn't a sign of weakness. It's the first step of a true explorer." Vesper still looked at the faraway every single day, but now he spent more time listening to the rustle of the leaves and the stories of his elders. He learned that being brave wasn't about breaking the rules. It was about understanding why the rules were there to begin with. And when he finally set out on his next adventure, he went with his parents' blessing, his ears wide open to the song of the wind.